When we think of scary songs in movies or TV, some of the most common ones that come to mind are Tubular Bells, also known as the Exorcist theme, Psycho, the Thing theme, and maybe the most famous. Music is such an important part to a film. It can make or break a movie, invoke a feeling from the viewer, and sometimes be one of the most iconic parts of the film. Let's say you're in the ocean, floating, shifting with the currents, looking over the blue sky, just enjoying things. You take a dive underwater to wet your hair and see the ocean trenches. You pass along some coral reefs, some seaweed, and even some little fish here and there. As you continue to swim onward, you see a silhouette of some kind. Now it could just be some rocks, and it could be a ship as well, but whatever it is, something comes across your mind. So in the spirit of Halloween, let's talk about some of the more unexpected music in media. Welcome to Lost Keys of Mare de Noms. Today we open the door to horror with, in my opinion, the top 3 scary songs in unexpected movies and TV. Let's go. Number 3. Yo Ho Ho from Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Extended lyrics by David Ruiz. Now, this one I probably wouldn't even put on the list if I was only including what's in the Garfield special. The song is actually pretty short that way.
60 men all lost at sea, all of them drunk except for me. 'Twas I who had to face the storm with nothing in sight to keep me warm. Yo ho ho ho, over the raging sea we go. Yo ho ho ho, wherever the four winds blow. Hey!
There is still creepiness in it. Like the music has a piratey feel to it, but also a sense of doom lurking there as well. Maybe those 59 men were all drunk because they accepted whatever would happen to them, having a calm at the storm. Or maybe they were passing the time by being drunk and under unfortunate circumstance. A storm came on. Either way, the captain is there at the forefront of everything, fighting against the heavy sea. You see, there is something there, but the song is so short that it doesn't have the time to flesh things out. With the extended lyrics, they elaborate upon what Yo Ho Ho was steering towards. 40 men all lost at sea, all of them drunk except for me. 'Twas I alone to face the storm with nothing in sight to keep me warm. Yo ho ho ho, over the raging sea we go. Yo ho ho ho, over the sea we go. Down below the music played, but faithful to my task I stayed. Above the Jolly Roger flew, 'cause pirating is what we do. Yo ho ho ho, over the raging sea we go. Yo ho ho ho, over the sea we go. Now, every stanza doesn't have the same yo ho ho part, but I'm gonna skip over that with the rest of the lyrics. Anyways, The story continues. The mammoth creaked, the rudder groaned, against the railing I was thrown. The ship was tossed about the sea, saving us all was up to me. The storm grew worse, I fought the wheel, I felt the shudder of the keel. The lightning streaked, the thunder boomed, ahead lay naught but swirling doom. I turned my face toward the storm and cast the gloom a look of scorn. I bellowed out with all my might, "You will not sink this ship tonight!" I swear a voice did answer me, perhaps the God within the sea. It said, "Why should I let you go? The dead belong with me below." I answered loud and with no fear, "This ship is bound to reach the pier. She may be old, but she still sounds. No storm yet has brought her down." The roaring wind and foaming sea did hurl its endless wrath at me. I battled on against the gale, the tempest clawing at our sails. The sea god summoned all his might and raised a wave of towering height. I grabbed the wheel and feeling brave, I turned the ship into the wave. The hull hit hard as sword on shield, I vowed to make the sea god yield. The hull did break the wave in two, and so the valiant ship burst through. And just like that, the wave was rent, the sea subdued, the storm was spent. And soon dawn broke, the skies grew clear, the storm had passed, the end was near. Victorious, I sailed ahead. The sea now calm, the danger shed. 40 sailors gathered round, amazed to find the ship was sound. From that day forth a legend grew of godly storms and fearless crew. How 40 men faced down a god and rode the storm the daylight broad. Whenever asked about this tale, I shrug and tell them without fail. The crew was brave, the captain wise, no storm shall take them as a prize. Now, there are those who doubt this tale of angry god and raging gale, but I just smile and sip my brew. The sea awaits the doubting fool. Alright, first off, I want to give some props to the writer here for bringing that dialogue in there without falling out of rhyme. There's a lot of songs out there where it becomes them just talking over the music. There's nothing bad about that, but some praise is to be given for when the dialogue aligns with the lyrics. It's not something you see a lot in music. Getting into the lyrics, there's a small detail said about the crew in the 12th stanza. Victorious, I sailed ahead, the sea now calm, the danger shed. 40 sailors gathered round, amazed to find the ship was sound. Maybe those sailors were expecting that to be their last hurrah before going down with the ship. You could say that they were surprised at how little damage was done to it, but I mean, with a storm that bad that it feels like the power of a sea god is wavering it, with thunder and lightning, I'd believe their thoughts would be of something worse. I'm not gonna say it confirms that they accepted their fates, but it does point towards it. Out of all the stanzas / lines in here though, the one, I swear a voice that answered me, perhaps the god within the sea, it said, "Why should I let you go? The dead belong with me below." That's the one that gets me. There's something very off-putting about it. A voice, somewhere in the air, a sea, speaking out to you, pretty much saying, "You already did, I have you, you now belong in my world below." And their intentions behind that, why does it want you down below? Could the captain be right, and that is a sea god living at the bottom of the ocean, taking dead sailors who drowned at sea as his prizes from the marine waters? An area of lost souls? Or is it something else talking? And they mean below by the abyss of hell, where the damned lie. And I think you could guess what would happen there. Now there are those who doubt this tale of angry god and raging gale, but I just smile and sip my brew. The sea awaits the doubting fool. The ships that sail out there to try to disprove the captain's legend are sure to meet the same fate of thunder, rage, and gloom. Though they may not be as fortunate as the previous, still, this legend will continue. Originally this was a very small song with only one stanza, but it was beloved by fans so much online that they took it upon themselves to write more lyrics, creating a whole story for it. Yo Ho Ho, a song about men lost at sea and their persistent captain. Number 2. Savages from Pocahontas. You know, I really wouldn't expect a song like this to be in a Disney film. It sounds like it'd be in a darker place than a movie about a Powhatan woman and the arrival of English settlers. But it does serve its purpose by showing the reaction of ignorance and hate when people fear what they don't understand. Before making this video, I'd never even seen Pocahontas. The first time I even heard this song was from another YouTuber's video, Top 10 Controversial Cartoons, Animat. Originally, I always thought the line was savages, savages, very unhuman, which is more menacing honestly than barely even human. It makes you wonder with that line, what kind of disturbed, immoral creatures are these?
Savages, savages.
The song has a hellish-like feel to it, especially when the chorus hits. The beginning, feeding the tension of danger impending, adding more notes as it builds to the chorus. And when it gets there, it's like a curtain is pulled back, revealing the flames. Sources say Savages does share similarities to the mob song from Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, I can see it. Both involve one guy rallying up a crowd to go kill what they say is the enemy, by preying on the crowd's fear of the unknown, then using that for their own ulterior motives. One for jealousy, the other for greed. An interesting thing about this song is that both sides mirror one another. Both the English settlers and the native Indians sing about how the other is evil and needs to be dealt with on the battlefield. Hell, even the vocals start to intertwine together near the end. Musically, it sounds like it would be in a place with demons, pitchforks, and red flames, showing the savage nature of things. But with context, it refers to two sides foreign to the other, preparing for all-out war, which purely stems from the anger, fear, and assumptions they believe about the other. A strange one enough, one that pierces an unholy feel. Now before we get to number 1, let us open the door for the honorable mention. Monks on a Mission, from Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet the Wolfman. Even though this song is centered around a horror element, looking back on it, I'm a little surprised they managed to make the song feel scary. You know, there's songs out there where you can tell the writers were going for a creepy or eerie vibe, but it misses the mark for you. It may hit other marks, but not the mark intended. But here, the writers and composers did well for what they're going for. The melody brings a foreboding presence. I really don't even need to come up with a scenario of my own, since the movie already visualizes it pretty well. Walking through the night, vulnerable to what else is about. All you can do is keep your guard up, hoping that if there is something there, you see it before it sees you. It brings the suspense of something subtly approaching, especially with that booming sound at the end of the ostinato, keeping anticipation going with every hit. But what really sells it for me is the lyrics, even with the vocals being pitched up.
There's something wicked out there. We feel it in the air. It whispers, come and find me if you dare.
The last time I saw this movie was back in like 2006, maybe 2009. And part of that third line, come and find me if you dare, still comes back to me every now and again. Like, the way I thought about it back then was something being out there, hiding within the night, preying upon whatever was foolish enough to come looking for it at dark. It all sends an alignment to you when thinking about it like that. Come outside and find me within the night. It's similar to the dramatic irony in Little Red Riding Hood. You know something bad is about to happen, but the character doesn't, and they fall for it.
We sense disaster lurking. Must save the neighborhood. This monster must be stopped for good. We see a full moon rising. We hear the howls at night. But you remain out of our sight.
Since the howls can be heard from their perspective, that must mean whatever this is nearby. The scary thing is, by how much though? Is it off in the distance by dirt and cornfields, howling up at the moon? Or is it right there near the sidewalk, ready to sneak up behind you? You really can't say.
We know we're getting closer. We don't know what's in store. But clues are leading to your door.
They'll follow the clues no matter where they lead. If it means walking directly into the belly of the beast, out in the open, for whatever may come. Some may say that it's asking for a death wish, others might say it's quite brave. But you must have something to protect yourself with when you're that close. Because when you don't, you're likely to become like others in horror stories, a victim of the monsters. You might be wondering why I put this as an honorable mention and not on the list. Well, the parts I mentioned so far are only the verses, and are shorter compared to the chorus. And when the chorus comes in, well...
We're monks on a mission. We'll keep on searching. Monks on a mission, whether by day or moonlight.
This being a movie for anyone, I guess they want to balance out the tone of the song somewhat to not completely scare the target audience. But still, when the lyricists and composers went for an eerier vibe, they went further than would be thought of for a G-rated Halloween film. So, it deserves an honorable mention. Monks on a mission. Watch out during the night. Something might just be waiting. And the number one spot is...
First you see us, then you don't. Now you hear us.
Secret of Survival from 1996's Wind in the Willows. The melody is what does the heavy lifting here. It gives a sense of warning urgency through it. Like a person running from someone in the woods, panically trying to get away as the figure approaches closer behind them. I feel like you can almost hear the footsteps by the drums or whatever that is clacking in the background. With how some of these words are said, these guys almost sound like they're about to go ballistic.
Ice jaws, claws and teeth, ready to attack you. You're standing better. Don't come walking in the wildwood if you haven't got a gun.
Like they're saying, you've come into our world now, and you don't know the peril that you're in. And the way they all run off screen like that, there's something uncanny about it. Towards the end of the song, for a small bit, The melody changes to whatever ghostly gothic circus music would sound like. Allow me to paint you a picture. Think of a circus tent, but in a paradox. All the colors are sucked out, things are only in black and white. They're still juggling, clowns and highwire walking, but ghosts are the ones doing it, instead of living people. It's a place full of dead spirits. The song has a very aggressive and predatory nature to it. It's actually a pretty good reflection of how it would feel, struggling for survival as you're being hunted. Heart rapidly beating, nerves running high, tension growing more and more. A fight to stay alive. As the song says, you're a snack, you'd better run. Hurry and find your secret to surviving. And so we have reached the end of the list. The interesting thing about all these songs is none of them are meant for mature audiences. The highest rating any of them have is PG for Wind in the Willows. They're for anybody with the target demographic being families. Which I find that fascinating. Something kinda aimed at younger audiences does have moments in it that do creep the viewer out. Especially when the movie isn't even about something scary. And I think that has to do with a false sense of security some movies bring with them. Like when watching a slasher film, you already know what you're getting into. It's going to be scary, and it's going to throw some elements in to get the audience frightened. Jump scares, creepy imagery, blood, murder, etc. So those internal walls are up. It may still get you, but you're expecting it. But when you go into a comedy or something with adventure and a dark scene comes in, it has an impact on you, catches you off guard, takes you by surprise. There's no internal walls up here because there was no reason for them to be up in the first place. It has that time to sneak up on you. You wouldn't think that a movie about a Disney puppet would have anything dark in it, when it's about him proving to be honest, selfless, and brave in order to become a real boy. But when you have a part where a kid becomes hysterical after being turned into a donkey, now that sense of security / comfort has a hole in it.
You boys have had your fun. Now pay for it.
When there's a part of a movie so contrasting in mood from everything else in it, it sticks to you. You think about it in your head. Something doesn't feel right here. For a movie about a chocolate factory, pretty dark seeing a chicken getting its head cut off. It's almost as if the curtain of the stage is being pulled back, so to speak. You're seeing more than what is meant to be seen on accident. And whatever was established previously has been thrown out the window and morphed into something new. Then once it's over, the movie continues on with the next scene like nothing ever happened. Innocence of a story shortly lost, we move on to the last line's epilogue. I bet you didn't expect the top 3 list to be this long, but there's a lot of stuff to be said, and there's a lot of stuff that need to be said. I'm thinking about doing something on the first Jaws movie next year though, so if there's something specific you guys want to see on that, or you want me to do a second one of these, let me know by leaving a comment about it. I do got some other songs in mind. But that's it for this one though. We shall see you with the next key opens in the later video. But for now, until then.